Reminds me of that meme of a doctor pointing to a chart of a spine and saying, "This is your spine," and the patient going, "What? Put it back." This makes me laugh harder than it probably should. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's time to react to some cello and orchestra memes. Let's see what we've got, and I'm going to try and give some insight as a professional musician as to whether or not there's any truth to these. Okay, so this says vibrato, wrong note. It's just pouring a latte onto another latte and overflowing the thing. Theoretically doable, but it's going to be noticeable. It's better to just correct a wrong note as soon as possible, but that's, as they say, that's a mood. All right, we've got Buzz Lightyear. I do everything my teacher says, but my playing is unique, and then it shows a bunch of Buzz Lightyears on a shelf. I wouldn't say this is accurate. A good teacher teaches you some things that may be sort of more axiomatic, might be the word, like things that you really should do and that are up for less debate, especially technical things. But a good teacher will also help you to find your voice and cultivate yourself as a cellist so that you can make thoughtful decisions. I know when I was studying, I had some leeway to make my own musical decisions with my primary teachers, and as long as I justified what I was doing, as long as I had a valid musical reason. It's all about doing what you intend based on your musical studies and making sure that you're not accidentally doing something that you don't mean to do. Cat walks on piano. Any jazz pianist, that's actually a C13, sharp 5, flat 9, sus 4, minor 7, sharp 6, 9, sus 2, flat 13. Okay, so some of the things in here as a former music theory TA, I'm looking at this and my mind is a little bit boggled, and because some of the things don't make sense, like C13 is at the front and then you've got flat 13 at the end. Unless you're also adding a flat 13, I'm not sure how that would work in the notation. But it's the same, we've got the flat 9 first and then 9. So let me put on screen what I think would be the closest recreation I can think of, and we'll see how it sounds. All right, this is cute. There's not too much to say or debunk here from a musical perspective, but rather from a computer security perspective, which is that neither of these is a strong password. Obviously, you want to use unique passwords for everything, not have them be easily guessable, have them be, very random strings of letters and numbers and special characters. But that's really not the focus of this video. Cute meme, though. I like this one. This isn't really humor, but it's a good thing to remember that, if you screw something up, it's probably not a big deal. I have struggled with this a lot, just having these little mistakes that I make, and then I sort of feel like they're the end of the world, even though they're not. And it's something I really do try to work on, just not letting them affect me like that, but it is difficult. And it's helpful to see that the world is still here, even if I play a note 15 cents flat, or if I come in early or something. I try to be careful not to do that, but life happens and humans aren't perfect. Okay, not really an orchestra meme, not a cello meme, but absolutely adorable. Reminds me of that meme of a doctor pointing to a chart of a spine and saying, "This is your spine," and the patient going, "What? Put it back." This makes me laugh harder than it probably should. This one doesn't really make me laugh. This one makes me cringe really hard. Never hold a bow like this. Never, 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 never. This is gonna get oils from your skin all over the hair, and just, I can't look at this. I can't look at this. All right, this is one I've seen this story around a lot. If you ever feel bad about procrastinating, it says, just remember that Mozart wrote the overture to Don Giovanni the morning it premiered. I'm not a Mozart scholar. I don't know with 100% certainty that that's true, but the message is a little concerning me, because I know there's a lot of people do end up being in a big time crunch or procrastinating. I think Leonard Bernstein said something like, only two things are needed to make something great: a wonderful idea and not quite enough time, or words to that effect. But it's best to try and keep organized if possible. Like, if I were procrastinating everything to the last second, I would be a miserable wreck. So I try to chip away at projects day by day and gradually, and I feel so much better by doing that. Okay, this one's just silly. The frog is, for those who don't know, the part at the bottom of our bow, but I like this frog at the play. This frog looks extremely distinguished. Okay, had to do it. I'll give you a second to read through this melody, maybe go to a cello or piano, play it through. Mary had a little lamb. Yep. Rick rolled in a cello bend video. You're welcome. Now this one is cool. These kids think they're getting candy, but it's really 16 gigabytes of Baroque sheet music. As an adult, I'm down for that. As a kid, I would have been missing my Three Musketeers and my Hershey's. Not a big Kit Kat fan, but that's beside the point of this. But nowadays, like, if I had 16 gigs of Baroque sheet music like that, that could be a huge amount. I'd be down. I would be really down. So this is sort of a riff on those grammar jokes about how important a comma is and things like that, or apostrophes or whatever. Music literacy matters. I like to eat. So if you don't know how to read sheet music, you might think this says something very bad. But in reality, we repeat at that sign with the two dots. I like to eat. We go back to the beginning. And then the one above that measure means that it's the first ending, meaning the first time through, we play that. Or in this case, we say that. And then after we repeat, we skip over it and go to the second ending. So I like to eat, repeat to the beginning. I like puppies. A perfectly innocuous statement. This one rings unfortunately true. Me, after learning only the first half of a piece, a new piece. So this could be when you're like just studying independently and sort of getting burned out on a piece or getting excited to start the next thing without finishing. But the way I read it is sort of when I have a rotating queue of music throughout the orchestra season. I'm making headway on something, and then I get an email from the library like, next cycle's music is ready for pickup. Come on down. It's on the shelf ready for you. And I end up just kind of adding to my stack while I'm working on the beginning of it. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed these memes, but we're not quite done, because here is a picture of Stravinsky petting a donkey. I figured y'all might like that. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. But before we say farewell for now, I hope you'll leave a like and a sub. I have a blast making these videos, and I want to cultivate a community of cello and music enthusiasts here on YouTube, and that helps me do that. I release shorts almost every day, and longer videos on Mondays and Fridays, and I would be honored if you'd join me. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're educational, and if I play my cards right, they're both. And if you're an adult who wants to learn how to play cello, even if you've never played an instrument before, and even if you don't know how to read music, I would love for you to check out my course. It has over 5 hours of video lectures covering everything from the basics of reading music to learning how to use the bow to actually working on repertoire, and tons of stuff in between. Plus, after a one-time purchase of the course, you have lifetime access to me for feedback on your playing. It's available either by visiting the address shown on screen or by clicking the link in the description. My friend, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. If you're still looking for more cello and music-related content, I cordially invite you to check out these videos here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.